of YouTube. I am back with another book review. This time it is The Tommyknockers by Stephen King. I am a fan of Stephen King's work. There's a lot of his books that I haven't read yet, so I'm hoping to try and tackle at least one of his books every month until I get through all the ones I currently have and whichever ones I happen to pick up between now and the making of this video. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the book review. This book is broken up into three different parts. You've got, three different books. You've got book one, book two, and book three. Book one really starts to set the tone of what's going to happen in this. It's absolutely crazy. I will go ahead and drop the synopsis real quick and then get to my review. So the synopsis. Something was happening in Bobby Anderson's idyllic small town of Haven, Maine. Something that gave every man, woman, and child in town powers far beyond ordinary mortals. Something that turned the town into a death trap for all outsiders. Something that came from a metal object, buried for millennia, that Bobby stumbled across. It wasn't that Bobby and the other good folks of Haven had sold their souls to reap the rewards of the most deadly evil this side of hell. It was more like a diabolical takeover, an invasion of body and soul and mind. So, right off the bat, with Stephen King's writing, this is like a 740-something page book, so there's going to be a lot of lengthy descriptive writing in it, which is something I've come to expect from a lot of King's books, and he hasn't let me down so far. He does have very lengthy writing styles. The entire book one kind of sets you up for the characters and the town of Haven, which in itself is almost its own character. Great slow build all through book one. I think book two was probably my favorite because we've got so many different people's points of view in book two, and every story kind of meshed with the other stories, so you got overlapping and interlacing storylines that I really, really enjoyed. The sense of growing unease started relatively early in this one. It left me feeling weird, and I'm like, I know some things are gonna go down in this. Lot of shocking and descriptive moments in this. Lot of shocking moments in this one. I guess I wasn't expecting this to really be much of a sci-fi horror, and it absolutely was. As it's mentioned in the synopsis, the people of Haven are kind of overcome with something that changes who they are as people. I would even say there was some good body horror in this, particularly surrounding the people of Haven. It started off relatively small, bodily bleeding, losing teeth, which just, I have dreams as an adult of losing teeth, and it just grosses me out even then. So reading about it kind of continuously was a nice little good ick factor for me. And then it goes an extra layer up where the people are almost starting to transform slightly. They end up with like translucent skin and green blood almost. It's very well placed to make you kind of go, ew, that's gross, and then keep reading. The ending, like the last 100 pages were an absolute whirlwind. Like book three really took everything that had been going on, grabbed it, and ramped it way up, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I loved it so much. It was crazy. I was scanning through pages like crazy these last 100 pages. I finished it over a couple of hours just because I had to know how it ended. It ended on a relatively good note. Honestly, by the end, I'm not even going to try to spoil what happens in the end, so I don't want to go into too much detail on that, but it did have a slight happy ending at the very, very tail end. I know a lot of people complain about Stephen King's way of ending his stories, but I think this one actually did pretty good. Let me know if you've read this down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. I rated this a 4 out of 5 stabs. I'm curious to hear what you all have thought of this book, those that have read it. This was part of a read-along for, over on Instagram by Finding Dairy. I will probably link them below. I really like their content. But they were doing a group read-along of this, and I was really glad to be able to join in on this and discuss the book with them. I Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below if you've read this. Let me know what you thought. And as always, happy reading.